back to the Irish Mags show. It is episode 109. And looking around me, we have some exhausted Newcastle United / Irish Mags podcast hosts and members and Newcastle fans, because it has been a week, lads, and I think we've all collectively aged, and we were old enough, well, at least myself and Krisho were. I'm Paul, I'll be your host, and I am, of course, joined by Krisho and Alan. The dynamic duo is back. And lads, I mean, we have a big discussion to go through today, and we're going to be talking about comebacks, as it is the theme of the last week. And there's a little matter of an upcoming run this month and an FA Cup draw, but let's just dive straight into it. Alan Williamson, I feel like I've aged a good 10 years since Tuesday. So we're recording this Monday night. So this day last week, I was a young, fresh man, eager for life. 2026, new year, new me. And then a week later, I was just ready for bed and bed alone. Where do we start? Leeds? Let's start with Leeds.
I've never been able to pinpoint a moment my blood pressure started rising. But as soon as that game kicked off, I could feel my blood pressure going up and up and up. And as it progressed, it just got worse and worse and worse. And then it's the whole thing of, oh, nice, I get to watch my team play. Why do I do this to myself? Nice, we won. And I'm like, what do I do to myself? Why do I watch this? I love it. I hate loving this club, and I love hating this club. It's the best. It's the best, worst thing anyone's ever done to me, and I absolutely love it. But it's utter carnage. Just what can you say? Like, what a week!
What a week indeed. Like late goals going behind. I mean, Krisho, these were supposed to be.
I'm trying to be humble.
Easy is a very strong word. These were supposed to be two.
I'm trying to be humble, but I'm going to burst. I'm going to burst if I don't say it.
Do it. Just get it out of your system.
Do it.
I told you so. I told you it would be 4-3. I told you Barnes would score the winner. Oh, God, that I held that for a week.
Now, hang on. We have to be fair to him, the man is never right on the podcast. So we have to let him have this one. We actually have to let him have this one.
Can we filter in? Can we filter in claps or something? You know.
Well, we're not going to do it for you, so I'll think about adding it in, but I probably won't. To be fair, you did. I mean, did you put any money on it? Definitely not.
No,
but that's fine.
No.
Yeah,
the Mugs game. No,
it's
but
game.
I even called it during the match in the because I mean it really was falling apart. Let's be honest, lads. It was poor. There was the Aronson guy. I mean, he's okay, but that third goal that he scored to make it 3-2 to Leeds, Pope didn't seem to move. He kind of just watched it go past him and in.
I've seen a couple of people say this. That shot went in off the post. It could not have gone any more into the corner. If it was a half an inch more to the left, it hits the post and bounces out. Pope cannot reach that. So Pope is reacting there to it, hitting the post and coming out and reacting to the second shot. It just happened to go into the back of the net. You cannot say.
I just wanted to raise the point, and just with Pope, right? Is that that not the side that he can't dive on, or he doesn't? He chooses sometimes not to dive on because of his shoulder injuries.
We need a keeper. We need a goalkeeper.
Right, that's fair enough. Right, let's not end the conversation. Right, end the conversation. Let's not move away. But Paul, it was I literally can't believe that Harvey Barnes is pulling an Almiron. I know I'm not allowed to mention his name anymore, but he's pulling an Almiron. He's having a light purple patch. He's in the right spot. He's in the right spot when you need him. I know we'll go into the Bournemouth game now in a minute, but he's always in the right spot now. It's like he's finally clicked, and he knows exactly from all the training that's been drilled into him exactly where he's supposed to be and how he's supposed to link up. I think him and Voltemade are, if you want to call it sexy. They're sexy together. They look really good against Bournemouth. They look really good against when he come on with Leeds. But look, I think Pep Guardiola said it today that it's one of the most special stadiums, and it seems to just drive. They seem to it is nearly a 12th man. Like, I know that's kind of an expression. They have it up in Celtic as well. It's nearly a 12th man kind of thing. That's how they had those famous Champions League nights up there when they should have been hammered, but they won. It's the same like with us. There's moments where collectively you can just, all the souls of all the old Newcastle fans and all the old players rise up from the pitch and drive Newcastle on to score goals. And we've done it let's be honest. Can we be honest? I don't think we played I don't think we've been playing that well. Specifically in midfield and defence, we've not been defending well. And I think teams have really started to figure us out. But if we're going to do a Keegan on it, why not? Let's run. I'll take 4 trees until the end of the season. I don't care. 5 trees. Let's go.
For sure, you might take them, but my heart can't take them.
I don't think
my
for a whole season.
My neighbours can't take them. My housemate can't take them.
My wallet can't take it.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot, right? And for if anyone's missed it, right? So we're looking at Newcastle United 4, Leeds United 3. We've gone behind 3 times. Harvey Barnes has scored the winner in the 102nd minute, which is officially the latest Premier League goal ever scored.
No, the latest
That's
winner
how
extreme. Ever scored.
Latest winner. I thought
winner
it was the
ever.
goal.
No, it's the latest winner ever scored. So there's been later goals that haven't meant anything, but it's the latest winner.
Right, latest winner.
Even better.
Even more better and dramatic. And then we go and we obviously play Bournemouth, and a similar story. We go ahead, we completely retreat into ourselves for about 10 minutes, invite them on. They then score 2 goals in 6 minutes. You know, when we had the opportunity to I suppose, take control of the game, we let it go. Very similarly then, it's the same way Bruno scores a penalty in the 91st minute against Leeds, then Anthony Gordon scores a penalty in the 95th minute against Bournemouth. It goes to extra time. Harvey Barnes pops up. We think he scored the winner on 118 minutes. These poor lads playing so much football. And then we conceded to Bournemouth. That's not sustainable. Entertainers or not.
No.
For 2, again, and I'll go back to the original question or point. These are 2 home games that we should be expecting to win here. I don't really care what anyone says. Looking at Bournemouth's form, and they've sold their best player. Leeds, newly promoted side, and granted they held us in Ellen Road as well. But Alan, here's the big question, right? I think everyone would agree the performances weren't brilliant. There were flashes, and we should be a lot better at home. But on that point Krisha was making about the crowd and cheering us on, I was listening to the Totally Football Show. It's a very, very good podcast. Everyone should be listening to. One of the guys on there, Daniel Story, he's one of the best football journalists out there. He was basically saying the thing with Newcastle United, bring them into when they're 1-0 down with 5 minutes to go, or tell them that they need to score a goal to save their lives. Everything against them. They're the best team in the league. Give them a 1-goal lead, and they're atrocious.
Disaster.
Why? There has to be. Is it mentality, psychology, tactics? The manager, the play. What the hell is going on?
I think it's a bit of tactics, it's a bit of mentality. There was a brief 5-minute period of every time that Leeds scored a goal, 10 minutes after, we were like 1970s Brazil. And then for some reason, when we got the equaliser to make it 3-3, we actually kept it going. We're like, we'll win this now. And you're going, why can't we do this all the time? But on that's Leeds' first loss in 10 games. And in those 10 games, they played against City, Liverpool, Chelsea. They played some big sides and did not lose. We were decided to end our unbeaten run. Bournemouth, who we just beat, went to St. James's Park. I remember being at it last year, and they taught us a footballing lesson at St. James's Park last year. So, although I'm not saying we're going to do this every week. It's great. It's not great to concede 6 goals in 2 games. But we lost 4-1 at home to Bournemouth last year in the league. I know, but this was the cup, but it was a vastly marked better improved performance from the lads. And the Leeds game, cast your mind back to the Luton game a couple of years ago when they were newly promoted and we drew 4-4 with them. And it was, I think we equalised in the last minute, or maybe they I was actually at the game. I can't remember if they equalised or we equalised, but it was another tennis game. And I was like, this is embarrassing. We should be going out in hockey in teams like this. We're finally beating them. We're moving slowly but surely in the right direction. But it's not sustainable to keep this chaos football going. But I'm glad to be on the right side of results for once.
It's going to cost us, though, is it not? Like for Tuesday night, I mean, the lads looked absolutely on their arses by the end of the Bournemouth game. I know we're going to talk about it now in a minute, but like Leeds took it out of them, but by Jesus, did that Bournemouth game take it out of them? They were like lying down at the final whistle, barely able to move. And I'm just I was thinking, even though there was kind of a joyous reaction to winning on penalties and everything else. And fair play to Ramsdale. I'm delighted for him. The first thing I thought was, man, these guys are going to be wrecked for Tuesday night against Man City. At least we're playing at home, so maybe there's another spirit of the St. James's Park field that will drive us on. But I was just a bit concerned like that, like especially with the injuries kind of flowing in, and everybody, I'm sure, in the Irish Mags are very happy that Fabian Schär didn't break his ankle. He might have done a worse injury by damaging his ligaments, but I'm just a bit concerned like that we're a bit thin. And then Eddie Howe hasn't really kind of come out and made me feel very confident that we're going to sign anybody, because he's just thrown in PSR again. He just
on that. If Eddie Howe came out and said we're going to spend 40 million on a centre half, that centre half becomes 60 million. He's doing exactly
smoke
what you want.
And mirrors, people.
I hope so. No, I hope so.
But you never heard of a manager being asked, are you going to be active in the window? Yeah, we're going to sign 7 players. You never hear that.
Yeah.
It
also doesn't do the squad any good. You know, if he says, yeah, we're after a right-footed centre-back, then Malik Chow and Fabian Schär are like, what the fuck is going on? So, yeah, I agree with Alan there in that sense. Like, the thing about the fatigue, I mean, yeah, it's a case of our own worst enemy for making life so difficult. With the Leeds game, it just took such a lot, even though it was just, I don't want to say normal time, because it went on for about 115 minutes. But between the two games, yeah, massive like physical exertion. I'm just looking at it here. So, and here comes the problem, lads. Only one player actually played the entirety of both those games. Unfortunately, it is our most informed player. It was Harvey Barnes. So Harvey Barnes played every minute of both those games. Now he is a very fit player, but that takes its toll. It does show you the depth of the squad that there wasn't that many other players who did play in the entirety of those games. And then obviously the most recent one against Bournemouth, when we're talking about Man City coming up, Voltemade plays the whole game. Tonali, which is important, plays the whole game. The 2 centre backs, and Ramsdale as well. That probably doesn't count because I think Pope will be back in. Maybe actually, maybe not.
Yeah, Pope will play.
So yes, massive physical exertion, massive mental exertion, but on the plus side, Bruno played the entire game against Leeds and then only has to come on 79 minutes against Bournemouth. So I still think there will be enough in the tank. And with Man City's injuries, which we'll come to as we preview the Man City game at the end of the show, I do think we have enough squad depth. We're a bit stretched at the back, but I think Eddie is managing minutes, and maybe it's another mitigating factor in all this in terms of the chopping and changing and the erratic performances, because there is a lot of chopping and changing. And that's what squad management is. And it's only really when you look at it, players are playing chunks of games. And 2 years ago, we were playing the same 12 players in every single game for 3 months.
Yeah.
Those days, thankfully, at least are long gone.
Is Dan Burn back? Is Dan Burn back? No,
not
game,
too soon.
Yeah.
No, too soon.
So it's going to be another while for Dan. Yes, indeed. And obviously Fabian Schär now the latest, and potentially Tino Livramento. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, but we'll come to those. The Irish Mag Show is proudly sponsored by The Half Volley and FSH Training Limited. The Half Volley provide high-quality, customisable clothing and merchandise catering for all sports teams, businesses, social clubs and events, including, of course, the Irish Mags, with a new range available over on their website, thehalfvolley.com. FSH Training Limited offer a wide variety of training across the fields of fire safety, first aid and manual handling. All of their trainers are frontline emergency service workers with extensive instructing experience, ensuring realistic, professional training. All of their course options and details are available on their website, fshtraining.ie. Brings us on to the topic we should discuss today, lads. And, we're not going to dwell on the stress, because I was too stressed all week after all those games. And whenever I'm stressed, I like to have a lie down and just think about things. And I like to get nostalgic and weepy and looking back on fond memories of me when I had long flowing blonde hair, which was probably before I started supporting Newcastle.
LTD.
But we're going to talk about comebacks. And we thought we'd get together and talk about some of the most famous Newcastle United comebacks. We always stick with the Premier League era because it does match our generation and probably a lot of our listeners. So we're looking at kind of the last 30 to 35 years. We thought we'd reflect on some of the more notable comebacks, seeing as, let's face it, that Leeds comeback, that 4-3, considering we went down in that game 3 times and managed to turn it around to win 4-3. is a massive testament to mentality, and obviously, as we said, the 12th man, and you'd hope it gives us that resolve, that unity, momentum, and confidence going forward. But this has happened before. So we said we'd pick out some of the more notable ones that have taken place, I suppose, over the last, looking at about 30 years. Because the oldest one I have here on our list, when this game took place, Alan Williamson was the ripe old age of
4
years old. So that will tell you, listeners, that Alan Williamson was more than likely born in 1992 or 3. 1993.
1993.
Because the first game we want to talk about, I do remember watching live, and I can tell you I was 11 years old when this game took place. Krisho, willing to divulge how old you were on this one?
21?
No, 17.
17. Definitely having a pint, even though it was illegal. But there we are. We've just
No
outed
comment.
you on the internet.
No comment.
No comment. This was Newcastle United 4, Leicester City 3 in the 96-97 season. A lot of our listeners, I'm sure, will remember that game. I remember 11-year-old me watching it at home in my family living room. And by the end of this game, I was up on the armchair, and I don't know how only for I was a small, short-arse kid, I would have broke the armchair. Because in this particular game, Robbie Elliott opens the scoring on 3 minutes. If you know, you know. Robbie Elliott is an OG.
Billy Elliott.
OG from the Entertainers era. Robbie Elliott scores on the 3rd minute. His namesake for Leicester, Matt Elliott. If anyone remembers Matt Elliott, big, bald, hard as fuck centre-back. He scores for Leicester on the 55th minute. 5 minutes later, Steve Claridge makes it 2-1 to Leicester. Bearing in mind, this isn't St. James's Park. 8 minutes later, Emile Heskey makes it 3-1 to Leicester. And suddenly, after going 1-0 up on 3 minutes, we're now 3-1 down. This is something that the Republic of Ireland would more likely do when they scored that early. But on 68 minutes, it's 3-1. Is the game over? Absolutely not. Because, and Krisho, you'll remember this,
Yes. So
77 minutes, 83 minutes, and then the winner on the 90th minute, a 13-minute hat-trick for one Alan Shearer, gives us a 4-3 win against Leicester City. So, Alan, I'm not going to ask you your memories of watching that game. Krisho.
Yeah, look, it was an unbelievable coincidence that 13 minutes of goals for Leicester City, and then in a 13-minute period, Alan Shearer just grabbed, like Bruno's kind of been doing lately. Alan Shearer was furious all that second half. I thought he was going to roll up the pitch under his arm and run it into the goal. He was furious, and it goes from like they got a free kick on the edge of the box, 3-1 down, and Shearer, in his own words, said that he hit it at 160 miles an hour. If anybody has never seen that free kick, please go look it up on the internet. It's one of the craziest, hardest shots I've ever seen, and it just shows how frustrated he was. But he absolutely grabbed the whole team by the scruff of the neck and just went for it. Now, Leicester just fell to pieces because they were like, oh my God, Alan Shearer's activated, Super Shearer is activated. And he just basically won us the game. And like I was playing football back then when I was a young chap, a young nipper. And, I loved Alan Shearer. But after that, I was like, this guy is the best striker I've ever seen in my entire life. Apart from, that's Ronaldo or 9, of course. But Shearer was, at that time in 1996, he was the man. And this was just the proof that he was the man. The goals were great. All of them, even like the little kind of, I wouldn't say tap in, but the one at the end where Leicester basically, they looked actually scared. Talking about Matt Elliott being a skinhead looking nasty chap, they all looked scared of Shearer by the end of it. I think did he have a headband on that game where he got like knocked, where he'd been bleeding?
You could be right, because we didn't even have time to look up the highlights of these ones, but listeners should. You might be right, because there was a famous game where he had a headband on. I just can't remember if it was that. Or maybe bear in mind it was 11.
Maybe that was a Villa game that we came back and won. But it's one of the greatest performances by a striker. And I know he's had many of them for Newcastle, but that was one of his greatest performances because he really showed that he is Mr. Newcastle.
This wasn't the game where Neil Lennon headbutted Shearer in the boot, was it?
I'd see this is the
It's possible.
I think so. Let me just let me see if I can get it.
I think it was, or was that at James's? I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, this game was in St James's Park.
Mm.
This is a 4-3, Newcastle 4, Leicester 3. I don't recall if it was that game. Neil Lennon was on the pitch, as was the likes of Muzzy Is It, famously. We mentioned Heskey. I mean, there's some serious names. Casey Keller in goals, real throwbacks. But yeah, I don't know. I don't remember the Neil Lennon incident, but I have to watch the game back as opposed to the highlights. I just remember going absolutely mental. I remember I was probably supporting Newcastle properly about 2 or 3 years by then. Let's say I think it was about 8 when I started it properly, and this is around the time when like there's only certain games you could get on television depending on the channels you had and stuff. So, I mean, having grown up in a Man United house, to be able to watch Newcastle do that was just phenomenal. And for me, it will always be up there as one of my favourite Newcastle United moments, and therefore definitely makes my top 5 of comebacks.
Just to confirm for everybody, because I know someone might comment on it, Alan Shearer had a bloody headband twice in his career. The ones we're talking about was when he was wearing the NTL shirt in 2003, April 21st, in a one-all draw versus Aston Villa at St James's Park, where he got clattered early on, and he bled the whole game. Nice. Nowadays that just wouldn't be allowed. No way.
You have to change your jersey. Even didn't happen to Malik Chow in the last game as well. Yeah. A little bit of blood on the white stripe of the Newcastle kit, and he has to change it. It's a bit extreme. But anyway, that's the world that we live in. Right, that is one of the 10 or so that we have on the list. We're not going to go into as much detail on all of them. We probably just keep going through chronologically. There's 2 that happened within the same season, Alan, and again, these might be more closer to your living memory, let's say, in the 2001-2002 season under Sir Bobby. So there were 2 games that took place. One, interestingly, was 4-3 against Leeds, so narrative much. And the second one was a 3-2 away win over Derby County. And again, listeners, like we look up these games, even just to see the squads that were there at the time. This is a Leeds squad. If we start with the Leeds game, this is a Leeds team that had the likes of Rio Ferdinand, Ian Hart, if you don't mind, Gary Kelly, David Batty, Lee Bowyer, Harry Kewell, Robbie Fowler, Mark Viduka. This is a strong Leeds team. We all remember this was David O'Leary's Leeds.
Young Irish striker on the bench for Leeds as well. We went on to have a
There was indeed, by the name of Robbie Keane, alongside Jonathan Woodgate, ex-Newcastle, and Alan Smith, ex-Newcastle as well. Meanwhile, the Newcastle team was the likes of Given, Dabby Zass, Andy O'Brien, Solano, Dyer, Robert, Speed, Bellamy, Shearer. And just quickly rattle it through before we come to Alan to see if he has any childhood memories of this. This was basically 2 goals scored within a minute of each other between between Lee Bowyer for Leeds and Craig Bellamy for Newcastle. It was 1-1 at half time. Leeds take the lead through Viduka, another ex-Newcastle player. Jesus, there's a lot going on here. I'm going to pause for a second, lads, because you have David Batty, Lee Bowyer, Mark Viduka, Jonathan Woodgate, and Alan Smith in the Leeds side, all of whom went on to play for Newcastle. But anyway, we'll pause that. Leeds go 2-1 up. They then go 3-1 up through Ian Hart. So it's Leeds 3, Newcastle 1 in Ellen Road. Robbie Elliott again, lads, only scores when it matters.
Legend.
Pops up to make it 3-2 on 59 minutes. Newcastle then win a penalty, and Alan Shearer converts. That's on 71. So it's 3-3 going down to the wire. And in the 90th minute, a certain Peruvian pops up in the form of Nalberto Solano, and it's a 4-3 away victory. So quite interesting considering that 4-3 that just happened last week against Leeds. Almost a role reversal, let's say. But Alan, do you remember that game at all?
I can't, to be honest. I cannot remember that whatsoever, if I'm totally honest with you. It was only 7 or 8, so don't really remember that one, unfortunately.
He was a young man.
It essentially, this brought us to the top of the league in that season. And then we also, after this game, went down to Highbury and for the first time in a long time,
I remember that game.
Beat Arsenal 3-1. This is when Bobby Robson's Newcastle were right on fire. And we were, New Year's Day, I think we were 4 or 5 points ahead at the top of the league. I really, really thought, oh, this is it. This is we're gonna rewire the ghosts of a couple of years before. But that game, Nobby Solano's goal to win the game is one of the coolest finishes you'll ever see for such a ferocious, intense football game with tackles flying in. Because as you've named out those players, I can tell you it wasn't a pretty game. They kicked the bejesus out of each other all game. But Nobby Solano's goal, he just weaves his way through, very cool as you like, and just sloggers it past Nigel Martin. That's who was in goal for Leeds. And it's just, that's where I think even a lot of Newcastle fans started to believe, oh, Bobby Robson is the chosen one. He has come back to win the league for Newcastle. And then we were just on the up. But when Dyer and Bellamy with Shearer, when some of these guys were really honest, man, we were some formidable team in 2001, 2002. Like we could, and we did beat anyone. Like we played against anyone, and we did beat anyone. But yeah, anyone going back, do go back and look at Nobby Solano's winner. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful goal. And it's such a plan. He took it with such a plan. I don't know why we sold him to Villa. Well, let's not get into it. But yeah, because I think it was after that season we sold him to Villa. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Someone not throw him out. Souness
was it? Or?
I think you.
Who came in after? Who came in after Robson?
Souness.
Souness. Yes. He got rid of him.
But yeah,
I mean, Christian, as you're saying it, we have to remember, like, as good, like Newcastle, we were brilliant that season. Bobby had us ticking. Now there was moments, of course, where we dipped off and dropped, and we had some characters in the team, let's say, as well. But this was at a time when Arsenal were at the peak of their powers. Man United, were only a season or two after winning the treble. Liverpool, I think, finished second. If it wasn't that season, it was the season after. You had Leeds, as we just mentioned. Like, there was a lot of teams competing playing at the height of their powers, let's say. And for Bobby to bring us, when he took over, to bring us where he brought us, like, that was just incredible times.
We came fourth. We came fourth and qualified.
Came fourth, yeah. Crazy.
And that's the season we signed one of Alan's favourite players, Sylvain Distin.
Sylvain Distin, who came off the bench in that game that we were just talking
Quality
about. Quality player. He also started the game against Derby that took place later that season. We won't dwell too much on this one, but this just starts bringing back my old championship manager brain, because Malcolm Christie opens the scoring for Derby at home in Pride Park on 46 minutes. Lee Morris, whoever he is and wherever he is, puts them 2-0 up. And bearing in mind, folks, this is a Derby County side that has Warren Barton, friend of the podcast, starting at right back, and Rob Lee in midfield. So there is a hell of a lot going on here. And those boys found themselves 2-0 up against their beloved Newcastle. But 73 minutes, Laurent Robert strikes to put us back in the game. Kieran Dyer equalises just 3 minutes later. And it's that man, the most fondness for a cartwheel and or a somersault, Lamano Trezor Lualua, who gives us the winner on 90 minutes. And it was like, would this be one of the more epic comebacks? Maybe not, but to go 2-0 down and then suddenly bring it back to 3-2 and do it for the second time that season just shows how, I suppose, resilient we were under Bobby Robson, the belief that the players had. Never mind that Fabrizio Ravanelli came on for Derby in that game. That just, that's how far back we're going.
Unreal.
So, that was a class one. So we'll move on. I don't know if any of them will make our top five, but we'll circle back because we're going to fast forward to one of the games that I think is the greatest comeback you'll ever see in the Premier League history, and we didn't win the game.
I think this is the greatest game in Premier League history, bar none.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Ahead of the old Newcastle 4 or Liverpool 4, sorry, Newcastle 3, all of that.
Yeah, because we didn't lose.
Yeah, agree.
That's always a bonus.
That's the bar. Half the stadium left at half time and couldn't get back in.
Well, let's tell the listeners what we're talking about, because we are referring to 5th of February 2011, Arsenal 4, Newcastle 4. So this is Alan Pardew's Newcastle, and I mean, look, everybody listening probably remembers this and has rewatched those highlights, in particular that last goal. But again, this is at home in St James's Park. And we were diabolical for quite some time in this game, particularly the first half, because we were 4-0 down at half time. Theo Walcott, Johan Juru, Swiss defender, and a double from Robin van Persie put us 4-0 down at half time, lads. And Krisha, you were just about to allude to, and I remember watching this, a lot of fans leaving the stadium at half time.
Yeah, and they couldn't get back in. I don't believe they could get back in. I don't think so. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like 25,000 people, but it was about 10,000 people that just they had enough. They'd had enough of Pardew, they'd had enough of Newcastle, and they were just like, nah, this is embarrassing. This is going to be a massacre. Like, this is going to be like 8-0 in the second half. And don't get me wrong, it looked that way. But again, we had a midfield and we had certain players, Nolan, Barton, people like that, Czech Tiote, God rest them, real kind of, grifters, grafters like that got stuck in. I'm sure that at halftime, Pardew just let them at it and pull each other apart and just kind of G themselves up, because the team that came out in the second half is one of the best performances I've ever seen Newcastle do in 45 minutes. And that's saying something in all the years of supporting them. But it was one of the grittiest. They really kicked Arsenal to bits and they really upset them. I think who got sent off?
Abu Dhabi. I hate saying it, right? Joey Barton was a man possessed that day. He was sublime. From about 30 minutes on to the 90th minute, that man ran the show. He got the Abbey sent off. He scored 2 goals. I think he set one up. He was unbelievable. It's a shame he's a horrible human being, but what a game. Like, he was unbelievable that day.
Yeah.
It was, a hell of a response, whatever the hell was said at halftime, because Newcastle come out like a team possessed, let's say, which is interesting because we didn't score. Like, Joey Barton doesn't score the first goal, which was a penalty, until the 68th minute. So we've managed to hold them at least, because Chris Shaw, I remember watching this thinking, yeah, this could be, like, at the time, I just remembered that the highest defeat was like Man United 9, Ipswich 0 way back in the 90s, because obviously Liverpool did it to Bournemouth and or Southampton since, I think, if my memory is right. But I was actually fearing the worst here. But granted, we held them. This is a team, lads. Danny Simpson, Mike Williamson, obviously Colaccini's in there, Gutierrez, Jose Enrique, another bit of an arsehole. As we mentioned, Joey Martin, Kevin Nolan. A strike partnership, lads, and brace yourselves, of Leon Best and Peter Lovenkrands.
Wow.
So, in hindsight, a hell of an achievement. Now, like, Best is score. Best brings it back to 4-2 on the 75th minute.
Best had one of the best seasons of his life that year. He scored.
Was it the season he got a hat-trick, didn't he? He got a hat-trick in that season.
Yeah.
West Ham. Yeah. Leon Best, everybody. Irish legend, Leon Best. Joey Barton gets another penalty, so it's 4-3 on 83 minutes, and the place is going wild, and Arsenal are having a meltdown. The heads are starting to go, and we're just full of belief and just like no doubt that we can go and get something here. And for me, possibly like not the best goal or best Newcastle goal, but arguably the most iconic Newcastle United goal. Of all the lads to pop up on the edge of the box, and of all the players you might have preferred to be there, it was Czech Tiote, enforcer, defensive midfielder, aggressive, not known for scoring goals, Czech Tiote. Obviously, may he rest in peace, but 87 minutes, lads, smashes it in to make it 4-4, and it's absolute pandemonium. And even though we've not won the game, I think this is the best comeback for Newcastle United at the very least that I've ever seen, if not in the Premier League.
We're all football players. We all were football players anyway. Czech Tiote's shot on his weaker side was one of the most technically difficult things that you could do as a football player, to strike the ball coming down from such a height on his weak foot, and he hit it so well.
He swung that left leg like a golf club, and it just happened to connect with his
No, hang on. He did.
The man couldn't hit the big side of a barn door with a banjo, and he managed to bang one in from 30 yards on a ball dropping out of the sky. Give me a break. He swung his leg.
But 99 times out of 100, that ball is going out into the crowd, either behind the goal or out wide to the corner flag or out for a throw-in or something. But on that day, the stars aligned, and obviously considering what happened Czech Tiote since, just a remarkable goal, and like I said, iconic. It'll just go down as one of the most iconic Newcastle United goals.
The celebration
for me,
was immense, right?
Yeah, it was just bedlam, and for me, it's as good as a win. It's as good as a win for coming back from 4 goals down. I want to go so far as to say it hadn't been done in the Premier League before. I've not fact checked that, so we can always check that out. But absolutely phenomenal, and definitely for me is up there as one of our best.
Steve Harper with the WWE.
Yeah, the people's elbow.
The people's elbow. It's just honest to God.
Brilliant.
He's dead right. And again, lads, this was a strong Arsenal team. Van Persie, Walcott, Jack Wilshere, Fabregas was playing. You know, it's like ridiculous. So definitely up there for me. Let's carry on. And it's funny what a difference 5 years can make. Because there is it's quite a famous comeback, I suppose. But instead of being against Arsenal, it's against Norwich City. On the 28th of September 2016, at this point, Newcastle United are managed by Rafa Benitez. This is in the Championship, bearing in mind we'd been relegated the season before. I'll bring you through it, lads. Quite a notable comeback in terms of how the game swung. You were at it, Alan, is that what you said?
Yes, I was at it, yeah.
Alan, look, I'm going to take a break. Bring us through it.
Vaguely what I can remember, we were 3-2 down in the 89th minute, if I'm not mistaken, and we somehow, Dwight Gale managed to score from about 30 yards into the bottom corner. It was chaos. I think Gouffran might have got the winner. Was it from a corner?
Oof.
No, Gale got the winner in the last kick of the game, but I think Gouffran scored the equaliser.
Gouffran scored as well, yeah.
It was one of them matches where it was just utter chaos, and it was first against second, and we were battering them for the whole game, and then they were 3-1 up, and I was like, what's going on? And it was on par to be my first time ever seeing Newcastle lose, and thankfully we pulled something out of our arses because that was mental. But yeah, Dwight Gale got a hat-trick that day. He was unbelievable, and I just remember Mo Diame, I think at about half time, was running amok at someone on the sideline, and I was like, we're going to lose 4 or 5-0 here. This is mental. Everything that could have went wrong. But then in the space of about 15 minutes, everything that could have went right, and we won the game. Mental game of football. It was a Wednesday night. It was my first game under the lights. That was a league game.
Wow.
When I was only a youngster going over on my own, like a little lunatic, a little hooligan.
Not much has changed, Alan, trust me. I mean, what's also interesting here is, I mean, like Alan said, this was a big game at the top of the Championship. Obviously, we went on to get promoted that season, but, you know, this could have had a big impact had we lost that game, especially against Norwich, who, you know, when you look through their team, I mean, very interesting and very notably, lads, bearing in mind 2016, this is shy of 10 years ago, just over 9 years ago. Jacob Murphy not only played for Norwich, but scored for Norwich in that game. So that just shows you how far he's come along. But in the Championship, yeah, Dwight Gale opens the scoring. Dorrans gets a penalty, 1-1. Cameron Jerome scores early in the second half to make it 2-1 to Norwich. Jacob Murphy makes it 3-1. And then, as Alan points out, Dwight Gale, Gouffran, and then Gale with the winner. Just, Chriso, can you remember watching this game? I mean, this was Championship Newcastle.
I can remember seeing the game, albeit it was probably highlights. It wasn't like Al getting quick flights over to Newcastle. Dwight Gale did very well that season. I think he was at his level. I hope that's not an
30
insult
goals.
to him, but yeah, 30, wasn't it? Yeah, he was sensational.
Championship striker much.
Yeah,
he's Championship Shearer, if you will, because he was always there, and he scored goals, headers, left foot, right foot. He was phenomenal, and this was just another proof that, look, if there was if we needed goals to get us back up to the Premier League, we had the guy in the team. So I'll forever be grateful to Dwight Gale for how he performed that season under Rafa. He got a lot of goals and got us back up to the Premier League. But look, this is what we were saying at the start of the podcast. I don't know, Al, maybe you felt it yourself, but there is something that's at James's Park. There is, I don't care. There's something there spiritually that gets us over the line with certain things. You know, it's Teode coming back. You know, I know we're talking about a couple of away games there, but so a lot of these games that we're talking about, if I'm not mistaken, guys, they seem to be at home. And there's something spiritually there within St. James's Park that just seems to get us over the line in some of these things. And like you said, Paul, it's like as if Newcastle United play better when we give the other team a 1-0 head start, or
but don't tell them that.
Yeah.
Don't encourage it, Chriso.
Yeah. Oh, that tempting fate. I'm not tempting fate. But
fair enough. Yeah, massive comeback, and a very memorable one as well, I think, considering it was slightly darker season in our history too, I suppose, being down in the championship and all that. Right, a couple more games to go. We're obviously not going to talk about the most recent, obviously, games with Bournemouth and Leeds, but two more games I want to talk about, lads. And again, this isn't going to be the greatest comeback ever. I just think the circumstances were quite remarkable when I remember watching it. So this was, we're fast forwarding on to 2020. It's January 2020. Is this COVID times, lads, or maybe
just before COVID?
Just before COVID, because there was crowds in this stadium, from what I remember. Everton versus Newcastle United, and lads, it's hard to remember that this happened, but this is Carlo Ancelotti's Everton
versus Steve Bruce.
versus Steve Bruce's Newcastle. How this happened is beyond me. Everton had Theo Walcott playing for them, Moise Keane playing up front with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Luca Digne at left back. Pickford was still there, obviously, in goals. Seamus Coleman, actually, come on. And Steve Bruce's Newcastle, which, I mean, apart from some of the names we'll all know, Joe Linton, Almiron was there, Sean Longstaff, and Matty, by the way, the late Christian Atsu and Kieran Clark and so on, Isaac Hayden. Moise Keane puts Everton 1-0 up on 30 minutes. Second half, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Again, bear in mind, lads, this is 6 years ago, almost to the day. Dominic Calvert-Lewin still scoring goals against us. And it stayed that way, Alan, until the 94th minute. And then, well, who wants to take? Which one of you wants to take?
I want to take this one because I played football up until 2 years ago, and there was 3 Everton fans on my team. And this game happened 5 years ago. If I see one of these lads tomorrow, I will say Florian Lejeune to them, and they'll try to hit me. And I absolutely love the fact that they hate that man, because it was just mental. There's the picture going around of the 94th minute. Everton didn't win this game. There was 5 minutes added on. 2-0 up, 94th minute. Everton didn't win this game. You're like, there's no way. So we get a corner, and Florian Lejeune scores a bicycle kick, and it's mental.
Standard.
Yeah, we're like, I actually think it was his first goal for Newcastle, and we were like, we got something out of it.
Probably in his career.
Yeah. Everton tipped off, and we won the ball back instantly off tip, and we had a player fouled, and everyone kind of looked at each other and went, we're not allowed to do this, are we? We can't actually rob this bad. We lumped the ball into the box. It bobbled around for about 30 seconds, and the ball fell to Florian Lejeune again, who hammered a shot straight at Jordan Pickford. And everyone went, what's he doing? Why did he do that? And then the ref is pointing to the spot, and he has his watch out, because Jordan Pickford's standing 2 yards behind the line for some reason, trying to save the ball as it goes into the back of the net. And everyone's like, I can't believe we've just absolutely robbed this, but it was carnage. What a game. It was mental, everything about it. We scored 2 goals in about 30 seconds and stole a point.
I want to be very clear as well, just to add on to Alan's description. We had 3 shots on target in that game, and 2 of them were in the 94th and 95th minute. So that's how poor we were. We were brutal.
Steve Bruce.
I'm sure it was Bruce's tactics. I'm sure it was the second half. I'm sure.
I know. I mean, it's just, I've never really seen anything like this. Like, this isn't going to be our greatest comeback ever, right? No. We played poorly and we scraped through and we were very lucky. But just the nature of, like Alan said, 2 goals within a minute, both of them by a centre-back who just never, like, Fabian Schär, you might say, yeah, fair enough, that's Fabian Schär has that in him. Florian Lejeune did not have that in him. Not only to score once, but to score twice. And he looked as surprised as anyone for both goals.
Look back, guys, right? And look at Carlo Ancelotti's face when it was 2-0. He legitimately has never seen anything like that in his whole career.
That's when his eyebrows started doing the all one eyebrow up. And then
that was the day he decided, I'm going back to Real Madrid.
Yeah, that's exactly what he thought.
Get the hell out of Dodge. I'm going back to Madrid. See you later, lads.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, I just recall it being just, again, such a wild finish, and it's similar to the last 2 games that we talked about with Bournemouth and Leeds. The lateness of the goals. It's such an unbelievable way to finish a game, but God, it's so stressful in terms of having to do it in such a hard way, but we wouldn't be Newcastle otherwise. Interesting fact, lads. current Newcastle player that was on the bench for that game back in 2020.
Gordon?
Anthony Gordon didn't get on to the pitch, but was on the bench. A very young Anthony Gordon 6 years ago. I wonder, did he know then he was going to be playing and starring for Newcastle all the way back when?
Dreaming.
Right. Dreaming. Right, we've got one more nomination, lads. A couple of honourable mentions, and then we're just going to put together quickly our top 5 before we move on to Man City. The last game is a much more recent one. It happened on the 30th of March, 2024. And this is quite relevant in terms of circumstance because it was quite deja vu for the Leeds game, let's say. Newcastle United versus West Ham in St. James's Park. Krisho.
Yeah.
This you must remember this because it's only 2 years ago. You surely haven't drank enough red wine to erase the memories of it.
Not yet.
Okay.
Injury chaos. Newcastle squad was pulled apart. 2-1 down at halftime. They had Kudus. I like Mikel Antonio, and sometimes he could be a really good striker. He scored within the 21st minute. Jared Bowen scores literally directly after in the second half. So we're 3-1 down, even though Isak got an early penalty. Isak, can't say it 3 times. But we got it was just poor, frankly. It was, and we'd had a couple of games leading up to that. This is the kind of same season we were 4-all with Luton. So there was certain games at St. James's Park where it was our fortress, but we were just kind of falling apart a little bit coming up to the end of the season. At this one, this was another game where you think, oh Christ Almighty, West Ham are going to get another one. It's going to be 4-1. But again, Isak gets a penalty in the 77th minute, makes it 3-2 to West Ham. And it was another one of those games, just like we've talked about for the last maybe 20 minutes, where the St. James's Park just like lifted off the ground a little bit and maybe leaned a little bit more towards the Gallagate for a bit of a playing down the hill. Harvey effing Barnes, as he has done in recent memory, he was there. And the winner that he scored in the 90th minute is a beautiful. Listen to Razor and John Ando's commentary on it if you can. It's like Steven Gerrard's goal against Olympiacos all those years ago, Andy Gray's commentary. This goal for Newcastle against West Ham, Barnes' second goal to make it 4-3 to Newcastle, is a great piece of commentary, and it's a beautiful goal. This is where I was kind of thinking to myself, oh my God, I can't believe we have Harvey Barnes. If he could only just get into the team and have a bit of a purple patch. And now we're living through it now. So kind of gives you goosebumps a little bit that he did it this day as well. Like he was kind of our super sub last season. You know, we were bringing him on and he was getting goals, and he's kind of doing it again, but at least now he's starting games. But this is one of the greatest comebacks that we've seen in recent memory. Again, although there was a bit of a bad thing where Anthony Gordon got sent off in the 94th minute. I don't remember that, if I'm honest with you. Was that like a second yellow card for time wasting or something? I'm not sure, or was it a straight red? He did something very silly anyway. And maybe he was raging that Harvey Barnes had scored 2 goals. But it's one of the... if anyone tonight go back and look at Harvey Barnes' winner against West Ham, is absolutely sensational goal that he scored. Yeah, sensational.
And Alan, it is the deja vu, Alan, because Harvey Barnes did this against West Ham and Wolves. I feel like they weren't too far apart, but again, the old memories are what they are. And now he's like literally doing it again, like we're almost reliving history. Just that particular goal, like that's going to be up there. I talked about iconic nature of Tiote, but that, like, just in terms of sheer brilliance, that goal was unbelievable.
Yeah, that shot is sensational. It really is, and the way he negotiates himself, and the ball comes into him with his back to goal. Not that he did exactly a flick in an Henri, but he just passes it to the side of himself, and the strike he hits at that ball is beautiful. The click, and the West Ham keeper was never getting anywhere near it. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'll nearly go back and watch that again tonight.
Alan is currently stuck on mute. Somebody must have muted him forever.
I have it there. I fixed it. Just on it. It's one of them strikes where you're going, don't hit that. You're too far out.
Yeah.
We're trying to get a goal here, and he bends into the bottom corner. You're going, all right, I know nothing about football. Fair enough, you're a genius and all that jazz, but it's one of them. You're like, don't do that, don't do that. Oh, he scored it, great, well done. Yeah, you should have always done that. Screaming at the telly, screaming at the match. You're going, don't listen to me. I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, he's such a clean striker of the ball. Really, like he really does score some beautiful goals. Harvey Barnes.
If you could train him to be a centre forward, he would be one of the most clinical and dangerous strikers going.
He's a hell of a finisher. He is.
He's an unreal finisher of a ball. And he knows where to stand.
He scored a header. Like he was in the Alan Shearer-esque header against Bournemouth to go 3-2 up. He was in the exact spot he should be, and it was a beautiful little header that he did. I'm thinking, hang on, this guy could really play through the middle and scores a lot of goals. I mean, he's no Dwight Gale, don't get me wrong, but that goal, anyway, look, but that goal again, like against West Ham, again, everybody, please do go back and look at some of these goals that we've talked about and listen to it on the Newcastle United site, because Razor's commentary is sensational. It gives you goosebumps. It's brilliant. It's absolutely sensational. I think that's the day that Bruno Guimaraes fell in love with Harvey Barnes and just thought he's the greatest football player ever. So that's carried on now into the season, thankfully.
Well, if it can keep going, he's welcome to think and feel that all he likes, because his goals are coming at really big moments. And there's already talk, he's been linked. Harvey Barnes has been talked a lot because he's eligible for Scotland, who, as we know, are going to the World Cup next summer. He's never declared, and it's way too soon to say it. But if he was to continue this goal scoring form, he could make a late surge. But it's very ambitious, and he shouldn't be thinking about that. He should only think about Newcastle. But
he should not be allowed to get into that Scotland squad for one reason and one reason only. That Scotland squad should only be made up of players who have qualified that country for the World Cup.
They did all the work.
Yes, they did the work.
Yeah.
I hate when lads go, they're in the World Cup now, I'll go declare for them. It especially grinds me gears when lads do it for AFCON. They're always playing for England, and then you hear that they're playing for Nigeria or whatever. And I'm like, hang on a minute, you're going to the AFCON or the World Cup with Nigeria, but 12 players who had to play the qualifying games aren't going to the World Cup. That's not right. So if Barnes is going to do it should have been done a long time ago. Don't do it just because it's glory hunting. It's what it is.
I did speak to a Scottish fan about, like, he's gone to the World Cup. He can't wait to go to I think it's Philadelphia or I think it's Boston, and then Miami for Brazil.
Boston, yeah.
They're all going, right? They can't wait, right? And I did say to him, he said, "Oh, Harvey Barnes is doing well, isn't he?" And I said, "Yeah. Would you take him with you on the plane?" He said, "Yeah, we would, but he'd be a super sub. He wouldn't get in the first 11. That wouldn't be fair. It just wouldn't be fair. But we'll take him and we'll lob him on in the last 10-15 minutes to maybe get a goal against Brazil." I was like, yeah, fair play to you, but I don't think that Harvey Barnes is going to do any of this. I think he's going to keep, like, he scored 11 goals this season, right? So far, I think it's 11.
He's our top scorer
in all comps. Yeah, he's top scorer in all competitions, which is pretty good. It's pretty good.
I could see him getting an England shout.
I tell you what, if he was Irish, I'd have him in with us, qualifying or not. But we'd take anyone at this stage.
Yeah, anyone.
Right, lads, that kind of brings us through the majority of the games we wanted to talk about, really. There's a couple of honourable mentions that we had on our list. We had a Newcastle 3, Everton 2 back in March 2019. Newcastle went 2-0 down at home, goals from Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. And it was Rondon and a double from Iose Perez that made it 3-2 under Rafa Benitez. That was a remarkable comeback. And another one we had on the list, less remarkable because it was kind of a disgrace, was when we played Luton Town at home February 24. And after going ahead early... Yeah, sorry, Al.
I was at that game, and it was me, Emma, and Dino Turner. And I turned to Dino and said, "Please God, Dan Burn isn't playing left back against Chucky Ogbene." And a guy sitting in front of me said, "Dan Burn will have him in his pocket." And I turned around and was like, Ogbene has one thing and one thing only, and it is blistering pace. 3 minutes into the game, Burn was on a yellow card, and your man turned around to me and went, "Oh God, what's going to happen here?" And I was like, Dan Burn should have never come out for this game playing left back. I don't know what we're doing. And for the entire game, Ogbene tore us a new one. It was, I don't understand how Eddie didn't see that happening. I seen it happening. And that was one thing that frustrated me that game.
Alan for
Lewis
manager.
Hall on the bench, Livramento on the bench. No, we don't need to talk too much about it. It's too upsetting. Yeah, it was wild. We were 1-0 up early through Sean Longstaff. They equalise. We're then 2-1 up, and they
That was
equalise
another
to
thing.
Ross
Longstaff
Barkley.
played up top that day.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Crazy times.
It's an interesting thing. Just really quick. Sorry to interrupt. It's really interesting, right? The last 4 that you have on this list, Barnes scores 2 in each game, and he scored in this Luton game as well. Was that the equaliser?
West Ham Leeds.
Was that the equaliser that day?
The equaliser, was Barnes to make it Newcastle 4, Luton 4. Barnes scores. Now it wasn't the 73rd minute, so probably less emphatic. And ultimately, I mean, lads, 4-4 at home to Luton is a shocking result, really. But was a comeback of sorts because we did go 4-2 down at one point before it was 4-3 and then 4-4.
Right, I know.
So makes the honourable mentions.
Really, really quickly, right? I'm just going to go play devil's advocate really quickly, right? Who's been better for Newcastle? Just one word answer. Who's been better for Newcastle so far? Barnes or Gordon? Quickly. Gordon, Alan. Paul?
Yep.
Oh, I wasn't expecting. That's a tricky question, you know.
Barnes has had more moments that stand out, but if you're talking about longevity, it's Anthony Gordon. There's been so many games where Harvey Barnes has been stinking.
Recency bias plays a big part here because, I find it hard to move away from how good Gordon was. There was 2 points over 2 seasons where he went on these kind of runs. He was scoring or assisting against all the big clubs, and he had an unbelievable 3 months. I think it was last year, but yeah, to be honest, and I hate sitting on the fence, Chris Show, but what Barnes has done more recently, and as you look back then at all the moments, I'd probably put them on a par. This
is where I was going to say. I think I might.
So there's an opportunity for one of them to really go and strive ahead of the other. The dream is that we can get them both on the side, on the right and the left, but we know it just doesn't really look like it's a long-term solution.
But Barnes would work on the right, would he not? Like he's
Chris Show, you need to get on. You need to get on to Toon Polls. You need to tag Toon Polls on Twitter and say who's been better for Newcastle since they joined, Anthony Gordon or Harvey Barnes. That's where we get our answer.
Right. Okay.
Right, lads. Really quickly, this has gone on long, but we love taking a trip down memory lane. If we were to pick our let's say top, we'll try and do top 5. Sure. We're just going to go around the room very quickly. Number 1, best Newcastle United comeback. Chris Show.
It really is hard to look past the Arsenal one, but for me, because of the age I was completely and utterly in love with Newcastle at this point. And Alan Shearer was the greatest footballing role model you could ever wish for. Watching that game against Leicester in 1996-97 was just orgasmic. So that for me, it would be the Newcastle-Leicester game in 96-97.
Right. To save time, Alan, I'm voting the same. So you're overruled.
I'm overruled. Fair enough.
on any number one you were putting forward. So we're going to go Newcastle-Leicester as our greatest comeback. Let's move into the number 2 spot, Alan.
It was not the Arsenal game or something. The Arsenal game. That was mental.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Fully agree. I mean, had we won that game somehow, like greatest comeback in history.
Yeah.
Ever. But to come back from 4 down was just unbelievable, especially with the Toyota goal. Okay. We're into number 3 territory now. Chris Show, who would you go with for number 3?
The West Ham win. And specifically around, even though I thought Solano's delicious finish against Leeds was great, that it was the ferocious intensity of coming back from 3-1 down against West Ham, kind of realizing, oh wait a minute, we might lose today. It's the reason why we love Newcastle. So Newcastle versus West Ham 4-3 with Barnes scoring in the 90th minute was sensational. That's for me.
Mine, I'm going to throw mine in, then Alan gets the deciding vote. I've actually put the most recent 4-3 against Leeds in here, because of us going down 3 times. Now, the caveat here is that, should be doing better against a newly promoted side, but we know how we're playing at the moment. They're actually playing quite well, as Alan pointed out at the start of the show. Just to go down 3 times and then to win 4-3, I've not seen that done, or it's rarely, if ever, done.
No.
And the lateness of the goal, for me, gets it at number 3. So, Alan, you get the deciding vote.
I agree with you. It was just a pure game. There was no tactics. It was just, right, you attack, we attack. You attack, we attack. You attack, we attack. 7 goals, great game. What more could you ask for?
Fair enough. Right, on to number 4. And Christian, this is where I'd put the West Ham game.
Right.
I think they were very close. Obviously, it's tight between the two of those, but just because it wasn't as much of a comeback, let's say, but the fact, just the nature of the goal that was scored, the quality of Harvey Barnes' goal to win that game. I mean, maybe it's even he's being harshly done by, but he must be used to that being a Newcastle player at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd go at number 4. Anyone have any other nominations?
Okay with that.
Not for 4th. And then the next
All
one
in
has to
favour.
be the championship game against Norwich for 5th place.
I didn't
Just
want
for-
it to be, but it has to be.
Has to be. We were losing in the 90th minute and we won the game.
Yeah,
Or just
that's fair.
just to annoy Everton fans, we'll just put it in as joint 5th, the 2-2 with
The
Everton.
2-2, yeah. That, I don't mind that as well, yeah.
I will accept. Okay, we'll go with Norwich and an asterisk with the Everton game as well.
Yeah.
Listeners and viewers, that is our top 5 Newcastle United comebacks of the Premier League era. Do you agree? Are there any we've missed? What were your memories, experiences of those games? Were you at St. James's Park or any of the away stadiums for those, watching on TV, jumping on the couch, lying on the floor? Let us know what your memories were and your experiences. And who knows if we're going to get another famous comeback before the season is even out this season. The way things are going, anything is possible. No, says Alan.
Yeah, please no.
Well, it could happen in 24 hours from now, lads, because at the time of recording, we're a day out from playing Manchester City in the semi-final of the League Cup. Quick chat about it. I mean, we've already kind of gone over the Newcastle squad in terms of fatigue and all the minutes. It's hard to know who's going to play where. For the record, I would suspect Wissa up front in a 4-3-3, back to the Eddie Howe usual.
Yeah.
I think a question mark, Krisha, would be, does Tonali start this game having played 120-something minutes?
I don't think so.
In addition to being a little bit out of form, clearly tired, and having a baby, just to cap things off. So if he doesn't play Tonali, that
people thinking he got taken off at halftime so he could go and see his baby being born, but he was in the picture at the end of the game. So
yeah.
unless they magicked his twin in there or they have a doppelganger, but
To be fair, you could probably get over and back in 45 minutes if you had.
somebody said that his wife had the baby down in London. I don't believe so.
Not a clue.
Anyway, look, there's neither here nor there. I'm just worried about who he's going to play in the back line. Can you guys give me your 4 for the 4-3-3?
Alan. Botman
Yikes.
and Chow.
It's got to be Pope and goal, Botman and Chow, Hall left back, Trippier right back.
Not
I wouldn't
Miley?
be surprised with Trippier, and that's based on the idea that Miley would be in midfield with Bruno
Yeah.
and Joe Linton, assuming
Yes.
Tonali doesn't start. If Tonali starts, then I think Miley goes in right back. The only kind of saving grace here is that if Tonali is fit enough, and he is a fit guy, right? You know, he was still making crazy runs at 119 minutes. We do have Wolves after that, so a slightly easier game.
Trippier's a liability against
Just
Man
on Wolves, since the start of the year, they're 12-3 open games and 1-2 and drawn 1. So we're playing them at a perfect time. Yeah, great. Thank God. Yeah.
City. Right.
Another
Fantastic.
comeback to add to the list. Breaking
Yeah.
news.
It's coming.
Man
Trippier's
City
at
do
the
have a lot of injuries. They're missing Gavardiol. They're missing Ruben Diaz. Haaland hasn't scored since before Christmas. The only thing you have to look at with City is, we've come off the back of 2 crazy games and exhaustion, and they got to have a stroll around against Exeter and win 10-1. 10 shots on goal, and they scored all 10 of them. But as we said, sometimes form is all that matters. Therefore, Alan, give me your prediction. First leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final, defending champions, we're at home. What's the score going to be?
2-0 to Newcastle.
Love
Wow.
that. And would absolutely take that.
Us.
Don't even play the game. Just give us a result.
Yeah.
Krisho.
Trippier up against Semenyo. Everyone should close their eyes and pray to Jesus Christ, because you're going to be very concerned after 6 minutes when it's 2-0 to Man City. But Newcastle will come back and it will be a fantastically unbelievable 3-2 win for Newcastle. We're going to see it again. Lightning's going to strike 3 times. We're going to win the game 3-2.
I can't go through that again.
I know you can't, but I'm just saying, get ready. take some Valium or something, but get ready because this is going to be a right roller coaster. It might even be 3-all.
We have to win at home.
This football is not doing dry January any favours at all.
Do away goals count? Or what am I dreaming of here?
No,
no,
away goals. No.
No, no such thing. But
it's going to be a draw, a high-scoring draw, or Newcastle are going to pip it 3-2, Paul.
The only thing I'll say, lads, is Haaland has only ever scored once against Newcastle. We've always done well to boss Erling Haaland, and City aren't parking the stupid 10-1 against Exeter. City haven't been full of goals when Haaland doesn't score. They suddenly have to look elsewhere. Now, Semenyo could be a bit of a cure to that. We saw that with Marmoush this time last year. This is what happens, lads. If they feel like, oh yeah, we might need something else, they just go and spend 70 million. They did it with Marmoush last year and he scored a hat-trick against us. Now they don't know it's Semenyo. But yeah, if we can manage Haaland, bearing in mind that they have defensive issues, yeah, I think we can get at these. And the reality of it is we need to, because we're going to have such a tough away fixture in the midst of a crazy run that's coming up, which we will talk about probably in more detail on the next pod, which will be after Wolves. We'll talk about that crazy run that's coming. So I'm going to throw a 2-1 in there, lads. Not comfortable at all. Doesn't do us huge favours for the next return leg, but a win is a win, and I'd take a win because we need wins and it gives us momentum. Alan Williamson, people will be watching this game in multiple locations, I believe, at the weekend. Or not on the weekend.
The weekend. No, Tuesday we only have Bleecker Street Bar.
Sorry. Yes.
Tuesday we only have Bleecker Street Bar. So if you're anywhere in and around Dublin, come down. We will do our best to accommodate you while we're screaming at TVs and hurling abuse at each other. But yeah, if you're anywhere near Dublin, come down to us. The game where Paul think we have multiple meetups is actually on Sunday at 2 p.m. We have 3 meetups. So the usual one, Dublin Bleecker Street Bar. If you're in and around Dublin, you'll see me in there whinging. I could even have a baby with me. I've had her in twice. So if you see me with a baby, come in and say hello. But if you are anywhere near Gracie's Bar in Sligo, which is in 24 Grattan Street in Napa, the lads will be in there. And they will also be in Gleason's Bar, which is formerly Kennedy's Bar. It's only been renamed, which is on the Bohernamona Road in Turles, Tipperary. So if you're in Dublin, Sligo or Tipperary, get into one of the Irish Mags meetups and scream your head off and get out
Turles.
yards.
Turles is a good crack. It's a right pub. It's a right good laugh down with the lads. Very good.
So there you go.
It's not that long away to Tipperary, lads. Had to be said.
No,
had to be said.
Only 2 stops.
A long road.
There we have it. Well, as we said, we will be back to all of you after the Wolves game, so we'll have another 2 games to look back on. It's getting hard to do these podcasts when we have so many games to look back on, never mind look forward to. But we wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you to everyone for watching and listening, as always, and a big thank you to Alan and Krisho for joining me. We'll be back next week for more Irish Magnus. So until then, howie the lads, slán go fóill, and we'll see you all very soon. Say goodbye, gents.
Thanks, Paul.
Good luck. Cheers, Paul.